Welcome to Brain Vision.
Let's start by finding the linear approximation of f. So we start off by just plugging in the point, 326. And then we'll take partial derivatives and also multiply them. In this case, we'll have x minus 3. This time, y minus 2. And for the last term, z minus 6. There we go. So now, first thing is to just plug in the point 326 into this function f. So you would get square root of 3 squared plus 2 squared plus 6 squared. So that's 9 and a 4, 36. So that's 49 inside the radical, giving us a 7. Now for the partial derivatives, even though we have 3 partial derivatives here, they're all very similar to each other. So for example, if I did f of x, I would get 1 over 2 times the radical. And then by the chain rule, I multiply by the derivative of the inside with respect to x, giving me a 2x. Those 2's cancel, and you see you have an x on top, radical on the bottom. And so when we do partial derivative with respect to y, we'll get a y in the numerator. And if we do with respect to z, we'll also get a z in the numerator. So in this case, we have x on top, so in this case it's just 3, over the radical, which we've already computed, that was 7. So I'll just write out the fy over here just to remind you what we just said. And the partial derivative with respect to z is similar. So this time we'll have y on the top, so that's a 2. You see the radical on the bottom, that's still a 7. Y minus 2. And then finally, the derivative with respect to z . So these 3 derivatives that are on the bottom right, they're all computed using the same chain rule and power rule. So this time we'll have a 6 over 7, z minus 6. Okay, so that's the first part. That's one answer here. This is just a linear approximation. Now we want to use this to approximate this value here. So this value here is equal to f 3.02, 1.97, 5.99. And we know that the whole purpose of studying the linear approximation is that if you plug in a point near this given point up here, then that means that the original function and the linear approximation L are approximately equal. And this justifies why I'm using the symbol here, approximation. That's what's being asked. So this is approximately L of 3.02, 1.97, 5.99, and this will be easier to compute because the formula for L is simpler, especially with these decimals. So we'll have a 3.02 minus 3, 1.97 minus 2, and then finally plus 6 over 7, and then that's 5.99 minus 6. So I'll stop writing right here because now it's time to actually compute this thing out. So I'll just go to the calculator on the next page to simplify what this answer is. So you can see here we have the same expression. Let me just double check that. 3 over 7, 2 over 7, 6 over 7. And you can see our point matches the same point over here. And so the calculator gives you about 6.991. And that's our final answer.